Hello. Hello. Hi, how are you doing so far? Great. As I said upstairs, this is the hottest podcasting event in Denver right now. So my name is Darrell Stern. I'm known as the Digital Marketing Jedi. I was the voice of Scooter Computer on ABC's Schoolhouse Rock way back in the 80s. I grew up in New York, New Jersey. How you doing? Let's have some coffee later. And I believe that marketing is theater. Marketing should be theatrical, and that all of you are a gift to the world, and the world needs your gifts. So what I've been studying recently in the last couple of years is the rise of these influencers, right? All these kids on Snapchat and Instagram and all of that. And my father was a philosophy professor. He taught me cognitive thinking and logic and words have meaning, and I've been doing SEO, or what you would call search engine optimization, for about 20 years. So I thought, why can't you do both? Why can't you do new school, which is YouTube channels and Facebook channels and all this other kind of stuff, and the old school stuff, which is blogging. So I'm going to tell you the story of how I took a local influencer, a local auto mechanic here in Denver, Colorado, and turned him into an influencer by creating all this content pulled right out of him. So I do an exercise that I call stern storming, which is where I go back through your life and we pull out all these different events and weave things together. And then we also super clarify your language and what you say and do about everything that you're doing in marketing, including your podcast. Have you ever talked to somebody, even here today, and it's okay, if this happened, but you ask them, what's their podcast about? And they go, well, it's basically like that, yeah. And you got to nod, and you're like, I have no idea what this person is talking about. Right? It's very important to clarify all that and clarify your language and clarify everything that you're doing. So, and this worksheet we're going to go through is just all of the different jam-packed with tips that I have been researching in terms of how I really want to help you guys with your podcast growth. So I only have a few of these little slides to show you, and obviously it's hard to see these, but this is, you can't even hardly see it at all, but this is Saul's Auto, it's at autorepairdenvercolorado.com, okay? So what I did with Saul is I made him not one or two or three, but there you go. But literally 60 landing pages, one for each and every type of car that there is that you can drive. Now most websites have, let's say, services, right? And it says brakes, transmissions, suspensions, and that's it. Well, I wanted to go one step further and have a landing page for each and every type of car that there is. Now you're saying, what the heck does this have to do with podcasting? Okay, so in my stern storming methodology, what I teach is that there's a lot of patterns out there in the world, frustrations that people have, that your podcast is the answer to. Did you guys start your podcast for a reason?
Yes.
Right? Who said? What is your reason? It could be to entertain people, to make them laugh, or what? What is the reason for the podcast?
Mine's about transforming lives through addiction recovery, transformation, incarceration.
Awesome. Okay, so you just named about 5 different topics within there, right? So one of them is addiction, right? So are you helping people while they're addicted become not addicted, or after they get out of it? What stage do you come in?
Both, all. It's all over the board.
Okay, so let's pick one of them, okay? So I want you to write down, if you have a pen and a piece of paper, and my number's at the end of this, you're all gonna connect with me and all that. But the first 2 words I want you to write down is, are you, right? Now, the are you statement is, are you frustrated? Are you upset? Are you pissed off? Are you angry? Because let's say you do a podcast episode about, what's one of the episodes about?
Drug dealer goes to prison reform.
Wow, okay, that's super deep. Yeah. Say it again.
They're all pretty deep.
No, that's good.
Drug dealer goes to prison and finds reform.
And then he finds?
Reform.
Okay, I'm deaf in one ear, so you guys just yell at me for me. Yeah. Okay, so he finds reform. So are you frustrated because you're a drug dealer and you just can't seem to get out of, you know what I'm saying, the loop that you're in or whatever, okay? Get it? Are you frustrated? Yeah. Then you go, do you hope? Do you hope? Do you wish? Do you want? Do you long, for something different? What I'm building is what I call an inbound marketing landing page for your podcasting, right? You can do this by episode, or you can do this by, for your entire podcast. But hidden within there are going to be these keywords like addiction and all the different words that you use that are then going to be like the stakes in the ground that are going to build your SEO and all of that afterwards. Okay? So, are you frustrated? Do you hope for something better? You know that if you don't change, right? Nothing will change. Do any of you know Brendan Burchard? He's a big speaker. He works with Kajabi now. He's a big self-help. Nobody's heard of him. That's awesome. Okay, cool, because I think you may. But he's on, if you ever go to one of his landing pages, he's like, what are you going to do? Sit there? So then, buy my course. What are you going to do? Be boring? You're never going to have a life? What are you going to, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there the rest of your life? Or are you going to change your life and do something better? And of course, it's on his landing page for his $5,000 coaching program. So you say, do you know that if you don't do something about this, if you don't change this, if you don't take these 3 steps, if you don't do something, nothing will change. And then at the end of it, you finally slow down, take a breath, right? And you say, what if, right? Now, what I'm talking about is selling your podcast and selling your business and all that through benefits, not the features of it, not who's on the show. I'm very tired of seeing titles of podcasts and posts that say, this episode with Jane Blank. I go, who the heck is that? And why should I listen? What's the benefit of it? Does that make sense? So your what if statement is what if, and it hints at what you know is in the show, what you know is in the package in the show. So in Saul's case, we made 60 landing pages, giving you the hope, inbound marketing gives you the hope that he can fix each and every type of car. Then we had to prove that he could do it. So I went down to his shop with just my phone and a little clip-on microphone, and we started filming him. Now, fortunately, Saul has a master's degree in physics, and he has a master's degree in engineering. He's been in the Forbes 30 under 30. He just turned 30. And what I did was we just put him in front of a car that he's fixing. And he's the kind of person, you ever meet a person that's a living Wikipedia of something? Like whatever you mention, they're just a living Wikipedia, right? So right away he's like, well, this carburetor was built in that, and in 1972, Ford discontinued that, and on, off the top of his head without any practice. So I love to help you guys pull all of your knowledge out of you and get it out to the world, because you are a gift to the world and the world needs your gift. So in the first 8 months that we worked together, we did 132 of these videos that I highly optimized on Mr. YouTube. There's a couple things about YouTube that you should know. One is there's you can come on in. On YouTube, there are tags. Anybody have not heard of YouTube tagging? You all heard of it. Good. Do you ever notice how when you're watching a video, there's a bunch of videos on the side of the screen that are related to that? Okay. So take the biggest vlogger that you've ever, or the biggest podcaster or whatever, or in your topic or area, or the biggest speaker on addiction or whatever, and watch what they do and what they talk about. If you agree with it or you have something to add to it, the story, a lot of people tell me, well, somebody else already did that, right? We all feel like that. Like somebody else already does podcasting, and podcasting is huge, and no, why should I do mine, and all that kind of stuff. But the story has never been told before in your voice. Agreed? Okay. So what I did with each and every one of these videos was, first off, so then one other thing. We did a lot of social media research to see what else goes viral. What else about fixing cars has gone viral? So does anyone drive a Jeep here? Thank God, because you do? Okay, good. I'm sorry, because there's a big problem with Jeeps. Thank God none of the rest of you drive Jeeps, called the Jeep death wobble. And what that is when you drive a Jeep for a while, the steering wheel can start shaking, it can crack, you can go off the road and die, literally. So I'm looking all this stuff up on YouTube, and there's other videos on YouTube that have literally 1.3, 5.2 million views on YouTube. So I asked Saul, I said, do you know anything about this Jeep death wobble problem? He goes, yeah, I put $20,000 into my own Jeep. So sure enough, we go out in the garage, we film a 6.5 minute long video called, literally, I'm very flat out specific. We can fix the Jeep death wobble in Englewood, Colorado with a lifetime guarantee. So you can't really see this, but that actually says 72,242 views. And then as of 2.5 years later, we're at 161,624 views. No advertising, no boosting it, no Google ads or anything like that. And we have sold $5.6 million in Jeep repairs, right? Why? Now, this is what I'm talking about. Be very specific. Everyone talks in generalities, right? You know, like I keep coming back to you, sir. My podcast is about overcoming addiction, right?
Overcoming
addiction of what?
Alcohol, gambling, porn, whatever.
Too many stuff. What were you addicted to? These are the kind of questions I ask on my podcast, by the way.
Alcohol, drugs, gambling.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Alcohol, drugs, and gambling.
Alcohol, drugs, and gambling. Okay. Be specific about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, then what type of alcohol? What gambling? I was a craps player in Las Vegas. My mom died of cancer. I went to Vegas. I go visit my inheritance in Vegas because it's at the craps table. Like, literally, like, that's part of my story. Like, but I'm saying the more specific you are, the more specific people will come to you. We all know that we want to have uber fans, right? That really want to help people. Well, the more specific you can be about what you're talking about and what you're titling these things, get it, and like blogging about and all that, the better, because those people you will help the most. The people that you help the most tell the most people, sharing, right, on the on the internet, right? You go watch this, word of mouth, the better. So here's the secret. I want you to take all your YouTube videos. So this is our channel now. We have over 202 videos out. Where's the slide that I'm missing? Okay, I'm missing a slide, but I will show you on the interwebs in just a second where this is. In fact, I won't even bother with that. I'm going to do it by hand. So I had each and every one of these videos transcribed. Okay? So to be an influencer, right? Everybody wants to be an influencer. Here's how you be an influencer. Okay? Write the book on your topic. You ever heard about that? Like he or she wrote the book on helping people with addiction, or what is your podcast and everything about?
I don't have a podcast.
Well, good, because you're going to start one. We're going to work on it. What is your podcast about, sir?
Angular Technologies.
Angular Technology, which is?
It's a web development platform by Google and Microsoft.
Okay, so you're going to write the book. Do you understand? Backwards and forwards on that. So when I transcribe all of these blogs, and what I'm telling you is just transcribe every single word of your podcast, right? Then you're going to go in and look for the keywords that you say over and over again in your blog. Now, in WordPress, when you have a lot of different blogs and you highlight a word and you hit the link button and you copy that word, I'll make it easy. Let's say we're talking about brake pads, right? We highlight the word brake pads, we put in the little search box brake pads. WordPress will show you every other blog and every other page where you mentioned that. I'll give you another example to make it even clearer. How many of you are old enough here to remember books? God forbid. Okay, good. Well, when you flip to the back of the book, right? When I went to graduate school, I got a master's in communications in '97. There's this thing called an index, right? And in the index, it says poker, heroin, and I don't know, something, all the, different keywords, right? And then underneath that, in the index, there's all the page numbers that word is together linked to, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm building an index, right? Now the other thing is this. Here's a lot. My father was a philosophy professor, so he taught me cognitive thinking and words have meaning and etymology and all of this. So when I think of a search engine, okay, I'm going to date myself again. Who remembers the movie Tron, the original one? Okay, right? Master control computer, we're fighting for the user, right? People think that about the Google algorithm, I'm optimizing for Google, SEO is Google. It's not optimizing for Google, it's optimizing for people that are searching, right? Now, you ever play Jeopardy? Right? How does Jeopardy work? The answer is right. So what are people typing into Google? So what should you title your blog? You get what I'm doing? Everything is reverse engineering. You got to look at everything from the outside in, right? And what I'm meaning by that is that then finally what will happen is you'll start to be discovered by people that you're not going out. Okay, so the ultimate goal of marketing is to have people find you, not to have you go and find them. Does that make sense? Like we're sitting there going, well, let's post it, and we're going to tag all these people, and Mom, could you share that too? Or whatever, right? What we really want is for people is to be known for something, right? And to leave our legacy and have people that are searching for an answer that you provide. You all are the solution, right? So what is the problem, right? That makes sense? Okay. Now I'm going to go through a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, podcast content. Get right to it. My podcast starts like the Tonight Show. I'm Johnny Carson. or whatever, Howard Stern or whatever. Like I have a really quick Tonight Show kind of intro, bam, I get right into it, live from Denver, Colorado, and go right into it. How many podcasts have you listened to where you have to hit that forward thing 8 times until you're 3.5 minutes in till you finally get to something that sounds interesting? Like we don't have, and I know podcasts can be 2.5 hours long, God forbid, but get right to it, right? Like on today's episode, this is what we're gonna do, and this is the benefit, right? This is why to listen to this. So on today's episode, you will learn blank. If you have ever wanted to blank, this is the episode is a must. Have a consistent format every single time. If you listen to the radio, it's really funny. All this stuff started with broadcasting and live broadcasting and all that. And nobody said, well, why don't we go look at how television shows and radio shows are formatted, right? Everybody started going live and it's all crooked and they're looking at the screen so their eyes are over there on their Facebook Lives. Anyway, okay, so, have a consistent theme. On my podcast, I ask very hard questions of my guests. I ask them how they get stern on everything from their diet to how they live their lives, how they balance, their job and their marriage and all kinds of other different things. And towards the end of it, I ask every single guest the same set of questions, right? It always has the same exact format. Okay, now we're going to move on to SEO and local SEO. Again, have each and every episode of your blog, of your podcast transcribed in full. Publish every episode with a complete blog with your video preview. Now, what I'm talking about a video preview is do not take the entire video and put it, like the lady upstairs was talking about Headliner, where you take like little clips of it and stuff. Well, instead of just taking clips out of the podcast, like literally make like a commercial for it. Like if you've ever seen, George Lucas was very into Flash Gordon in the old serial radio commercials. Will Bob make it out of the cliff in time, right? Will this, will he get there? Will this be able, what will you learn in this? Publish every episode as a complete, and then the video preview. Interlink all your keywords. I already went over that. Get your podcast a local Google My Business listing. Haha. Watch this. So the other social network that nobody ever talks about is called Google Maps. We use it every day. We search for a Chinese restaurant, we search for a tailor, we search for all this different kind of stuff. Your podcast has a local location. There was the guy that created FUBU. He was on the fashion brand. He's on Shark Tank. And he said, I always remember this, he said, you have to be a local hometown hero first, right? Like he started giving out t-shirts, it was before the internet. So get yourself a local Google business listing for your podcast. Call your podcast a business, like helping people through addiction, whatever that is. And then you can literally then post to your Google business listing. At Saul's Automotive, we posted 365 images and videos last month and got 26,137 views of those posts on Google Maps, right? Google Maps can link to your YouTube videos, and it can also link to, obviously, the individual podcast episodes. Okay, post images, memes, behind the scenes. People want access to your brand. They want to be able to see behind the scenes of like what you're doing, how you made the podcast, before it happened, after that happened. Video marketing, this is section 3. Is everybody good? I ramble and go on and on and on. Are you good? You want me to slow down, or are you good? Good? Okay, you can interrupt me anytime. Okay, now we're going to talk about videos, okay? Make a preview video, a commercial, let's call it, right? For every episode. Don't just take the whole YouTube, the whole podcast and put it out on YouTube. Make a commercial for it. If you've ever wanted to this and you've ever wanted to know that, my special guest will do this and you will learn blank and blank and blank. Right underneath that on the YouTube, remember the titles are not answers there. Written somewhere. Okay, good. So then you put the link right at the top of it, right? You know this thing above the fold where like you have to hit more and the stuff down there and everybody puts their crap down there and I go, no. Put the link to the episode right at the top of it and then put in a very, very good description in that has lots of keywords in it too and lots of verbiage into it. YouTube is huge. People go to YouTube to watch video. And most of the videos that they're going to, they want how to fix it, how to solve this issue. So definitely get on that. Always use links. Okay, so then, let me see where I am. Always use links on internet. Okay, I've got all the links, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, always sell with the benefits, right? the big why. Why should I subscribe to your podcast? Way back in the day, remember everybody was going, please like my page on Facebook, right? Please like my page, please like, and I was like, why? Like, you know, is it about baking cookies and I'm really into baking cookies? Then awesome. If it's into Star Wars, I'm totally there because I'm a total Star Wars geek. Do or do not, there's no try. But if it's in Star Trek, I could give a crap. Like, I'm not into that. Okay. All right. So, on Instagram, we're going to do a couple things. One is we're going to research 30 hashtags that we're going to be consistent with every single time that we post on Instagram. Okay? From the most generalized thing, such as hashtag addiction, right? Or hashtag, what is it? Alpha technologies. What is
Angular.
Angular? Okay, which is a sub of what type of technology, or is it its own technology?
Web.
Okay, so we got web development, I know this, web coding, right? Yeah, web programming, coding, like all those, right? Then you're going to get down into more specific things. What language is it written in? Ajax, JavaScript?
TypeScript, HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Right, so you're going to go all the way down, so you're getting more and more specific with each one down to your tagline. Like my tagline is get stern. Like we always have to get stern in our marketing, okay? Be consistent with that. Okay, so in your podcast, the lady upstairs who's speaking right now has that new app, which I'm thrilled with, because what it does is it reads your podcast and then it highlights like what the best quotes are from it, or something like that, and then it'll look and see what other people are highlighting, and you can tell. I'm like, holy crap, and it transcribes it. Holy crap, so there's your machine to do what I'm doing. Usually people are putting out like random segments of like what, you know, just talking random segments of things. I want it to be very, 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 very precise, like bold statements that someone says to you in your podcast or that you make in your podcast. You make it an H3 tag, you block quote it, you make it, you know, you change the font on it, you make it like really decorative and really good. And then you also take those and make memes, right, and graphics and all that kind of stuff. So we get at the linguistic theme too, because of course, Instagram, for instance, is all visual. It's all like making individual memes and all that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to breathe for a second. How do you feel? Are you overwhelmed? Are you what the heck? Or is this making sense? You talk to me. You say like, oh my God, it doesn't make any sense. You're going too fast. What do you think?
What are you looking for when you say research Instagram tags?
Okay, so if you put in hashtag, okay, I'm going to be a geek now. If you put in hashtag Star Wars, it says 32 million whatever posts in a second, right? If I go R2D2, there's much less. That's a character from Star Wars. If I go more obscure, there's even less, right? So I want to get some that are very, very specific. I will give you the example with Saul. Have you heard of the term in sales called low-hanging fruit? Okay, here's what we did at Saul's Automotive. A lot of people will say this, well, why should you bother talking about a specific thing? No one hardly ever searches for it. Okay, so very few people here own Rolls Royces, Bentleys, Lamborghinis, you know, Maseratis and all that. We have a crap load of videos there on Saul's. Go search for Bentley repair or Lamborghini repair or Maserati repair in Greenwood Village, Colorado. We're number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're number 1 on the maps, and we got 3 YouTube videos on it. So here's this kid that has this little auto mechanic shop in Englewood in an industrial park in the middle of, you know, way off the main road, and here's 6 Rolls Royces and 3 Bentleys sitting out front, right? And that's what got us in the investors. So what I'm getting at is that low-hanging fruit, that thing that is really, really so special to you, but you think, hardly anyone's going to look for that, do it. Be very, very precise about it. Because if you could get, I'll give you the monetary example with Saul. If I get 5 Rolls Royces a year and each sale or each repair is $25,000, I made 5 YouTube videos and made an extra $125,000-$50,000 a year. Get it? Right? So be very specific. Is that good? Okay. What else? Ask me anything about digital marketing ever. Yes? Okay, VideoHive is VideoHive.net has these cool After Effects 3D animations, and I can help you customize one. So like you can actually have a cool like intro with like 3D graphics going around and all that kind of stuff while you're doing the voiceover and stuff. My inbound marketing videos are about 1.5 minutes long. Like, are you looking for this? Are you anxious for this? Find out more in episode 2, and you just might learn how to blank, blank, blank. what is all this marketing? It's piquing my interest enough so I go on to the next step, right? Marketing is also the art of starting meaningful conversations. Hi, how are you? How are you?
Great, thanks.
What did I just do? I started a conversation with you. How did I do it? I asked you a question, right? I asked you a question. Okay. Here, so I'll put up the last slide in a second, but do you have your phones? Everybody have your phones? Okay, ready to make a brand new text message. And I'll give you my number, and I want you can text me your name and text me your email address. I'm going to send you my ebook that explains how to do all this stuff. So it's 720, everybody ready? Okay, 720-301, and it's on the handout too, 5525. And just text me your name and your email address, and then I'll be in touch and tell you guys all that about everything. I run a marketing academy that's at sternmarketingacademy.com, and if you go there and you put in the code Outlier, I'm starting my fall semester. I teach people for 3 months at a time, like a college campus. So I'm starting again on August 15th, and we only take about 10 to 15 people at a time. And that Outlier code is going to get you half off that or half off I'm just being ridiculous with you guys because I want all of you to succeed. But I am an open book when it comes to digital marketing. If you want to friend me on Facebook and just message me, hey, how does this look, or what does this mean, or what should I do, or whatever, just message me. I've been lucky enough to take a client and make it into a full-time job. I am now the chief marketing officer for the largest independently owned auto mechanic shop in the country. And we did it by busting rear on creating content and being very, very logical about it, transcribing it, learn SEO, learn search engine optimization, stop putzing around on Facebook Live all day. I'm dead serious, like Facebook is transient, like social media is transient. Here's the difference. Social media goes away. Like you see a post, refresh it, like there's 50 million more posts on top of you. But if you rank #1 for answering a specific question because you wrote the book on it and your podcast episode is the greatest answer to overcoming abuse or whatever, curing cancer, or this new technology that is radically going to reshape, the how we whatever, put on our virtual goggles in 2 years and don't even have to leave our homes so we don't have to come to such a hot place to do this podcasting festival, and we could have stayed in our fucking air conditioning and just put on a mask. I'm just kidding. So that's that. Like I said, connect with me. I love to connect with each and every one of you, and I'm going to be planning some events and some things to do here. I am an open book when it comes to all of this kind of stuff. I will tell you this, consistency and persistence. And if you can change your philosophy and say this, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? And wake up in the morning and say, and filled with the joy that I have something, a gift that other people need to know. The greatest tragedy in the world is a graveyard. Not because there are people that are dead in there, but because of all the ideas, concepts, inventions, cures, everything that went with them because they weren't brave enough and strong enough to get the word out about all the different amazing gifts that they had to the world. Thank you.